Boomer Sooner. That's right. It's Saturday morning hustle, but it is also OU Texas weekend. It's Saturday. I'm in the office. You know what that means. The Saturday Morning Hustle podcast. Outworking the competition while they still sleep. And why am I talking about OU Texas college football on the Saturday Morning Hustle? Well, it's important. As important as the Saturday Morning Hustle is, it's also important for you to remember why you hustle and grind so much. What is your motivation? What is your inspiration? What is your why? We're going to talk about that today and talk about how to balance all these things out. Not a simple work-life balance, but I'm going to give you 5 tips, a cycle, if you will, a system that continually starts over in order to help you avoid burnout, to stay focused in all the right ways, and to hustle and grind for all the right reasons so that you achieve what you need to, when you need to, how you need to. Super important that you understand your why and that you don't burn yourself out. So hustle and grind, getting that extra work in on Saturdays, on Sundays, coming in early, staying late, all of that is important. It is motivating. It needs motivation, but it has to be done in the right way, okay? And that doesn't mean you have to make sacrifices if you want to be highly, highly successful. If you want to own your own business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to make sacrifices. But that doesn't have to mean you have to make every sacrifice. You can pick and choose the things that you prefer to do and the things that you will skip in order to work. And the point of that is, of course, you're a human being. You need to have some wins, some fun, some entertainment. You have to take yourself away from work occasionally to be really great at work. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. But if you allow yourself to occasionally choose fun or not working over working, that's fine. You ask yourself that question on a regular basis. That is perfectly acceptable. That's part of the process. If you end up picking fun or not working over putting in that extra hustle, more often than not, I'm not talking about 51-49, I'm talking 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, well, then maybe you're not willing to do the work necessary to be an entrepreneur, to own your own business, to be the top of the game, whatever game it is you're playing as a in your career, as an artist, a musician, etc. Maybe you're not a hustler and a grinder if you choose to take the fun stuff more often than not. But you do need to allow yourself some time away from work, some time to let off steam, some time to refocus yourself. And that might seem like they're contradicting each other, but it's all about balance, and it's about how much you do of this and how much you do of that. The key are the 5 steps I'm going to go through here on the podcast in order for you to understand how to make your decisions, the why, how these things lead into each other. Step 1 leads into step 5, and step 5 repeats back to step 1. And if you continually are working on yourself in this way as a system, then you can hustle and grind. You can achieve. You can be successful. You can take yourself to the top of the game and still enjoy your life, still do things that are important to you, and keep yourself more productive and more motivated, because the important things, the real things in our lives, our family, our friends, things that are real and tangible and outside of work and not associated with work, is what's going to keep you motivated to continually go through this cycle of 5 steps. So let's start right at the top with number 1 of the 5 steps. Number 1 is the reason it's okay for me to leave early today and go watch OU Texas and enjoy myself and not think about work and not coming back to work until Monday is I need to avoid burnout. You need to avoid burnout. It doesn't matter how much hustle and grind you have. If you burn out, and everyone can and will, without breaks, burn out. And not just burn out. The thing about burning out is it isn't something where you go 100 miles an hour and then you hit stop. It's not 100 to 0. It is 100 to 90 to 80 to 70 to 60 to 50 to 0. It's a slow down and then you break. That slowdown is not very productive. It's ineffective. And it's something you should recognize. You should understand going from 100 to 90 to 80. See the signs of burnout, lack of motivation, focus in all the wrong places, etc. And instead of grinding yourself until you fall apart, whether it's you make yourself sick, whether you need to take several days off to just simply sleep or rest or collect yourself, or you're just simply stuck in second gear and you can never actually be very effective in the time that you're putting in, thus making your burnout even worse because you're putting in the hours, but you're not getting the effect you're looking for. You're not getting the improvement you're looking for because you're grinding through it. You're burning through it as you burn out. You need to understand that in and of itself is a failure, and that by admitting that you're burning out, by admitting you need to take a break and step back, that break will allow you, when you return to work, in an hour, in a day, in a week, whenever you return to work, hustle, when you return to your Saturday morning hustle, when you return into the extra that you stepped away from, you now, because of the break, because of the reset, at the very least have more energy, if not have a different focus and a new appreciation for the hustle and grind because you did take the break. So number one, avoid burnout, because burnout leads to ineffectiveness, and ineffectiveness is not beneficial. Takes you to step two, productivity, not being busy. You must make sure that you're being productive, not simply being busy, not simply doing things. Don't be in the office just to be in the office. Don't hustle and grind because it just needs to be done. Hustle and grind because there are steps that need to be achieved. There are tools that need to be put in place. There are processes that need to be developed. There are preparations that need to happen before something else can happen. All of the things you need to do are the things you have to be working on your Saturday morning hustle, your Sunday evening hustle, your late Wednesday night hustle, whatever it is. If you're just simply there to be there, you're not doing those things, then you're not actually achieving anything, and you're going back to step one, burning yourself out for no apparent reason, not being effective because you're not thinking about productivity, you're thinking about being busy. So you start by avoiding burnout so that you stay effective. You continue to avoid burnout and be effective by focusing on productivity. It's not about the hours that you put in, it's the effectiveness of the hours you put in. When you do that, then you can work-life balance. That's number three, work-life balance. And it's a big term and people toss it around a whole lot. I know I've talked about it. This first episode of the Balance series was literally, this is not about work-life balance. And of course it was work-life balance. So the January episode, I'll link it below. Check it out because it's a longer, deeper 30, almost 40-minute conversation about work-life balance. But the simple idea of work-life balance for me and for this discussion, when we're coming from not burning yourself out and trying to stay productive, if you think of it like that, it's about motivation. It's about what gets you up on a Saturday morning. It's about what keeps you in the office late when you need to. That motivation comes from the balance of enjoying your life, of doing things that are pleasurable to you, doing things with family, with friends, activities you enjoy, things you want to do, spending the money that you're making in ways that make you happy. And I'm not talking about being frivolous and just throwing it out the window and buying something just to buying something, but if you are a college football fan, take the time to watch college football. Buy a ticket to the game. If you want to go watch the Oklahoma City Thunder, if you want to take a yoga class, if you want to go hiking in the mountains and you need some boots, whatever it is, whatever you're earning for, whatever you're hustling and grinding for, you have to be able to engage in it and enjoy it, or what's the point of doing it? Work-life balance allows you to remain motivated in your work mode because your life mode is what you want it to be because you are taking advantage of situations that make you feel good. So don't be afraid to do the life part of the work-life balance. The work will still be there. And again, if you choose to do the extra work when necessary and when you're trying to be successful, like I told you at the top of the podcast, if you're choosing to be effective that way, then you shouldn't feel bad about the times where you step away, when it's 80-20, 90-10, not 50-50 or 70-30 the other way. That motivation that you gain from the perspective of your work-life balance can keep you in a step number four, proper motivation. Now, the worst thing in the world is to start a business or have a side hustle or take a job simply for the money. Now, it's good to make money, and it's good for your business to be profitable, and it's good for your side hustle to be profitable, and all of these things are good. It's good to make good money. It's good to have a great title, to have prestige, to earn responsibility, and to earn adulation. All of those things that come with being successful. All of that is great. All that is fantastic when it comes to you. You can't start there, though. You can't start with, I'm here to make money. So I'm going to work harder than everyone else to make money. I'm going to show up more to make money. I'm going to put more hours in to make money. Money and success and the things that come with it are a proper part of people's lives. You can provide for yourself, provide for your family, provide for others, be a part of your community, etc. But when your sole motivation is income, it's not fulfilling, it's never enough, and you can't find ways to balance work life because you simply always have to be earning at all times. And so you can't enjoy your life, and there's the lack of motivation. And so I've never seen someone be super successful who started off with, I'm here just to make the bucks. But I've seen plenty of people who make a lot of money, who have highly profitable businesses, are very, very successful, and feel really good about it in the process, thus keeping them motivated, thus keeping them productive, thus keeping them actually doing the work necessary to do so, because it is hard work. There's no thing as an overnight sensation. I've told you that many times on this podcast. But if none of those people that are highly successful started in this is the fast way to cash. They all started with a passion, with a desire, a want, understanding their why, put the work in necessary, balance their life so that they could stay motivated, stay productive. And when they were working extra, they felt good about it because their motivation was to be successful. Their motivation was achievement and fulfillment personally, not necessarily professionally, not about words on the wall, not about medals on your chest. It's not about the paycheck, but the paycheck will come if you're properly motivated, if you understand your why, if you're doing things for the right reasons, if your decision-making is based on what's right for the business, what's right for my career, what's right for the people I'm working with, what's right with my collaborators, what's ethically correct, all of those things. If you make your decisions like that, the economics will follow. If you make decisions on economics first, ethics or others or relationships or collaboration, etc., second, it won't work. The money won't follow that, but the money will follow proper motivation, proper inspiration, proper values and ideas. So number 4, proper motivation. Don't worry about the cash. The cash will come if you do things the right way, at the right time, in the right ways. But number 5 is how you run all this up into staying focused on the big picture. I just told you there's no such thing as an overnight sensation, which is 100% true. There's no such thing as an overnight sensation unless you're buying lottery tickets, and probably not the very first lottery ticket you buy. So that's not even an overnight sensation. But if we're talking about business, we're talking about a side hustle, we're talking about developing your career, if we're talking about building something that you want to be sustainable, that you want to do for 20, 30, 40 years, that you want to be able to buy a house and buy a car and sustain your family and pay for things that are necessary in life, and things that you want in life, and to enjoy your life, you have to stay focused on the big picture and then break that big picture into smaller segments that are then achievable. Why is that important? Because if you are only thinking about the big picture and you're always thinking about how far away you are from that major goal, that finish line, that you're not going to get there tomorrow, that it will not be an overnight sensation, then the motivation to get up and do the work necessary to build towards that goes away. But if you keep your focus on the big picture, understand it is a process, it is an ever-going thing. We're talking in 5, 10, 20, and 30 years, not 5 and 10, 20 minutes. Keep your eye on the big picture, but create subsegments of that: goals, objectives, strategy, tactics. When you get into the tactical level, then you break it into, what do I need to do today, this weekend, this week, this month, this quarter, in order to build the things necessary to achieve what is necessary to move into the next phase that gets me that much closer to the ultimate big picture. If you think of big picture, you understand it won't happen overnight. You will keep motivated. You will keep working. You will keep going back to the office. You will keep putting in the extra work. You will hustle and grind if you understand that the work you're doing today, the very small segment, creates a bigger segment, which creates something else, which gets you that much closer to the ultimate prize, starts collecting success, starts collecting cash, starts collecting profit, starts bringing all the access, all the opportunities to you to get to the next level. If you can think of it like that, if you continue to understand that everyone goes through this process, everyone struggles, everyone has to build, so you do too, then it's easier to understand that I'm not done today, got to do it again tomorrow. I'm not done this week, got to do it tomorrow. I need to do some extra work. I got to go in on Saturday. I've got to find time between college football or going on dates with your significant other or anything else that you find enjoyable in order to be as productive as possible, work-life balance, motivated. All the things that we've talked about today feed into the sub-segments of the big picture. You've got to achieve the big picture. You've got to do the things necessary to do it. You keep doing that by staying motivated, by remembering why you're doing it, by doing it for the right reasons. See how all of this works back together? It takes you right back to number one. Keep doing that work. Keep doing the small pieces that lead to the big pieces that lead to the big picture until you feel yourself burning out, until you feel like you're hitting a wall, until you feel like you've gone from 100 miles an hour to 70 to 50 to 30 miles an hour. Take that break, balance yourself, and start all over again. It all works that way because as soon as you achieve steps and segments and sub-segments towards the big picture, you have to reset and start over again and build upon that for ultimate success. That building upon can sometimes reset yourself to, really, how many times do I have to do this? There's frustration. There's potential for burnout. There's feeling like the extra work, the extra effort isn't paying off. But if you go back to step one, remind yourself not to burn out, take those breaks when necessary, remind yourself of the motivation, be productive, not busy, motivate for all the right reasons. Don't be chasing cash, but chasing things that are fulfilling for yourself, understanding your why, something you have passion for, something you want to do, not that you need to do. And then take all of that into the big picture. Once again, we've gone from 1 through 5 and 5 back to 1. That's how it works. That's the simple way of thinking about how you can work yourself very hard because you're earning it for yourself, because you're motivated for all the right reasons, because you're doing it for all the right reasons. You're building something sustainable that will last for you, and still taking time for things you enjoy, for things that make you feel good, that make you feel like more like a human and less like a hustler only, less like an employee of yourself or anyone else, and more about someone who's contributing to things, building something for yourself, for your own personal success, for your own personal feeling of fulfillment, and something that you want to continually do because you have passion for it, you have an understanding of it for the rest of your life until you decide you want to do something different, because you are afforded that luxury too in life. Is you can do something as long as you want until you're ready to not do that and you're ready to do something else. But that's up to you. Some people that's 5 years, sometimes it's 50, sometimes it's 80, sometimes it's every 15 minutes. I wouldn't recommend the 15 minutes. But if you go 10 years into something and it just doesn't sit right anymore and you want to do something else, figure out how to go towards that something else. That's where you got to put in the extra hustle. It's a side gig, etc. It's a whole other conversation. So check out the episode 1 Saturday Morning Hustle Podcast Balance series. It was January 27th of this year when I released that. It's a whole deep 30-minute conversation on work-life balance, which will piggyback off of this conversation as well. Really appreciate you guys tuning in for the 20-so minutes today on the podcast to talk about this very important subject. So, of course, you're listening to the podcast now. You know how to find it, right? The Anchor app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Podchaser, iHeartRadio. Did I say that twice? It's okay. YouTube, anywhere you find great podcast, you can find it. You can also find on IGTV, behind the scenes, the first 5 minutes and some behind the scenes footage you're not seeing here, or not hearing on the main and not seeing on the video is on my Instagram TV, my IGTV. So check me out on Instagram, the Kyle Golding on Instagram. Hit me up on Twitter, just Kyle Golding. And don't forget about this Saturday Morning Hustle Facebook page. There's a Facebook page for just Saturday Morning Hustle and, of course, SaturdayMorningHustle.com. So stream and subscribe, leave a comment or review, share with a friend. Get your Saturday Morning Hustle, Entrepreneur AF, Coffee and Donuts swag. Just some great swag to some super hustlers. The Bly's, you know them, from Taste of Soul, egg rolls, great hustle and grinders. They just got themselves a whole gang of swag. So be checking them out. You can get your own swag too as well. Follow on social media, make a comment, leave a review, all of that great stuff. Appreciate it very much. And I'll see you next time on the Saturday Morning Hustle.
Saturday Morning Hustle. Saturday Morning Hustle. Saturday Morning Hustle. Wake up and keep chasing your dreams.